In 526 CE, a king's corpse was carried to a tomb so mighty its 300-ton dome was an engineering marvel, and so heretical his bones would later be removed by an emperor. Join me as we explore how Theodoric the Great rose from hostage to king, ruled a divided world with Roman law and Gothic strength, and left behind one of the most remarkable tombs of late antiquity, so enduring his story still echoes into stone. Born in 454 CE into the royal Amali, Theodoric entered a world still reeling from the collapse of the Western Roman Empire. At the time, his people were clients of the Huns, and his father, Theodemir, had only just rebelled against Attila's successors following Attila's death. To guarantee peace, Theodoric was sent as a diplomatic hostage to Constantinople, likely around age 7. There, in the imperial capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, he spent over a decade immersed in Latin, Greek, Roman law, military discipline, and classical philosophy. He was a hostage, but also a student of empire. When he returned to his people around age 18, he brought with him a Roman education, a Gothic lineage, and ambitions that would one day shake the Italian peninsula. By the 470s, Theodoric had proven himself a formidable military leader. Meanwhile, Italy had fallen under the rule of Odoacer, a Germanic general who had overthrown the last Western Roman emperor in 476. The Eastern Roman Emperor Zeno, desperate to neutralize both threats, offered Theodoric a deal: invade Italy and remove Odoacer in exchange for rule over the peninsula. In 488 CE, Theodoric marched west with his army. After 5 brutal years of war, including key battles at the Isonzo and Verona and a long siege of Ravenna, Theodoric and Odoacer agreed to share power. But just days later, in 493 CE, Theodoric struck the fatal blow at a banquet. It was a cold, calculated betrayal. Yet from the ashes of treachery rose a new regime, one that would strive for balance between Roman tradition and Gothic authority. As king of Italy, Theodoric styled himself Flavius Theodoricus, evoking imperial Rome, but never claimed the imperial title. Instead, he ruled as Rex, king of the Goths, with the Roman Senate and bureaucracy intact. His legal reforms culminated in the Edictum Theodorici, a law code that blended Roman civil law with Gothic tribal customs. It applied equally to Romans and Goths, a radical attempt at unity. Religiously, however, unity proved elusive. Theodoric was an Arian Christian, following a creed that saw Christ as subordinate to God the Father, considered heresy by the Catholic majority in Italy. Though he tolerated Catholic worship, tensions simmered. In 526 CE, he imprisoned Pope John I after the Pope failed to convince Eastern Emperor Justin I to end Arian persecutions. The Pope died shortly after, possibly from neglect or illness in captivity. This act would tarnish Theodoric's image, especially in the eyes of Catholic chroniclers. One of the darkest stains on Theodoric's reign was the execution of Anicius Manlius Severinus Boethius, a Roman senator and a philosopher. Accused of conspiring with the Eastern Empire, Boethius was arrested and imprisoned. While awaiting his fate, he composed the Consolation of Philosophy, a masterwork of classical thought that would shape medieval Europe for centuries. Theodoric's paranoia was stoked by Byzantine hostility. Under Justin I, Constantinople had begun purging Arians from its territories. To Theodoric, Boethius's ties to the east looked like treason. Whether true or not, Boethius was executed around 524 CE. The incident cast a long shadow. To Catholic writers, Theodoric went from philosopher-king to Gothic tyrant. As his health declined, Theodoric began preparing for death. Near Ravenna, he commissioned the Mausoleum, unlike anything in Roman or Gothic tradition. Built entirely from Istrian limestone, its base forms a decagon, 10 sides, perhaps a symbolic gesture of divine order. But its true marvel is the dome, a single monolithic slab weighing an estimated 230 to 300 tons. Quarried in Istria, modern Croatia, the dome had to be shipped across the Adriatic Sea, floated up canals, and hauled inland using sledges, rollers, and brute force labor, a feat rivaling Rome's obelisks. Even more impressive, no mortar binds its stones. Like the finest Roman temples, it relies on precision and gravity. This tomb was a manifesto in stone, Rome's grandeur, Gothic might, and a king's defiance of time. Yet the dome is not without flaw. A large crack runs through its surface, likely from seismic activity. Ravenna sits on a geologically active plain. According to the 6th century anonymous Valesianus, Theodoric had a prophetic dream. Lightning would kill him. To defy fate, he built his tomb of solid stone, believing it would protect him. But legend says lightning struck the dome anyway, splitting the roof and crushing the king beneath it, a divine punishment for heresy. Modern scholars see this as moralizing fiction. The crack is real, but there's no evidence of lightning or collapse. Still, the tale survives because the crack remains, and so does the myth. In 540 CE, just 14 years after Theodoric's death, Ravenna fell to the armies of Emperor Justinian. Arian churches were reconsecrated as Catholic, erasing Theodoric's religious legacy. His dynasty collapsed. His mausoleum was converted into a Christian chapel, its Arian origins whitewashed. His remains were likely removed and scattered, a fate common for heretical rulers, though the exact details remain unclear. During the Middle Ages, the structure was repurposed as a fortress. In the Renaissance, artists like Piranesi documented its decay, and in 1996, UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site, one of Ravenna's early Christian monuments. Today, it stands empty. The sarcophagus is bare. No inscriptions survive. No king rests within. Theodoric dreamed of a kingdom that blended Gothic vigor with Roman stability. He preserved the Senate, protected Roman infrastructure, and built in marble and limestone instead of mud and wood. But he ruled in a time of fracture between East and West, Arian and Catholic, Roman and barbarian. His kingdom did not endure. His bones are lost, but his dome still stands, caught between two worlds and buried in neither. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow history lovers. Let me know in the comments which archaeological site you've visited or dream of seeing, and if you'd like to support more videos like this one, consider joining me on Patreon.